Manchester United have made contact with Anton Semenyo's camp. They're ready to go for him in the January window, but there's a lot of competition. Can they win that race? Manchester United's ambitious rebuild plans have been revealed. 3 players they want to sign have been revealed, and I have to say I'm a big fan. Romano gives updates on Baleba, who wants the Manchester United move, and now reports emerging that Brighton will make Baleba available in the January transfer window if they receive the right kind of bid. They would sell him for the right price. However, this is Brighton. They might want 100 million for a guy that's been crap this season, but we'll talk about that. I have a feeling Baleba to Man United is happening. Maybe not in January, but maybe in the summer. I have a feeling we're going to get him. I'm going to reveal why. We're going to talk about Elliot Anderson, why I think we need to go all out for him, but I think he's going to go to City. We're going to talk about Bruno Fernandes and more. But first of all, we're going to talk about the club. This club is a joke sometimes. I don't know if you saw the Mail's report. It was a deep dive on Woodward, the Glazers, everything that went on behind the scenes. And I think us as a Man United fan base is quite divided. Some people are very strong amorim in. Some people are very strong amorim out. It's very divided at the moment. Some people don't like Maino in the academy because they fully back amorim. Other people player FC, and some people are just like, no, I don't like the manager. And I feel like there's a lot of debate in and around the fan base right now. But I think one thing we can all agree on is the club's biggest problem is the Glazers. And they're the biggest thing stopping us from being serious. An inside source on the Glazers. The family are obsessed with money. So they would penny pinch like you wouldn't believe. We know about Ineos redundancies and all the rest, but nobody cuts corners like the Glazers. And Ed couldn't do a thing without them wanting to know about it. We used to joke that he would call Joe in Florida every time toilet roll needed replacing. Does this shock anyone? No. Is this what everyone used to assume? Yes. The Glazers are obsessed with money. They don't give a crap about the club. They don't give a crap about the future of the club. And they're still at the club, even if they have less power, even if they don't make footballing decisions, they are still at the club and they need to leave. And I think there needs to be more focus on what can we do to get them out? Can we get them out? Because this is the biggest thing that stops our club from succeeding. Idiots running this club. This beautiful football club deserves far better owners than the monsters that we've had for 20 years. They're obsessed with money. They don't give a crap about the club. And, I'm not going to dive into the whole Mail Sport deep dive, but it was stuff like Mourinho couldn't sell this player because Joel Glazer liked him. Joel Glazer, who knows nothing about football. Could it be a PR piece to make Ineos look better? Wouldn't shock me. To make Woodward look better? Wouldn't shock me. But it's a joke. Anyway, into the transfer news. Semenyo is heating up, says Fabrizio Romano. Man United and City have contacted Bournemouth in the last 48 hours to understand the situation of Semenyo. What we know is he's available for 65 million in January. Bournemouth can't stop that. If Semenyo wants to go in January, he can go. He will also be available for 60 million in the summer as his release clause will decrease. Liverpool and Tottenham also remain interested in Anton Semenyo. I think he's going to go to Liverpool. My head says he's going to go to Liverpool and Salah's going to go to Saudi. City, they've got Doku and they've got Cherki as their wingers. They've got Oscar Bob and Semenyo as their backup wingers. He is an improvement on Oscar Bob and Semenyo, but he'd have to compete with Doku for that left wing. You could argue he has to compete with Cunha for left 10. He might not want to be used as a left wing back. I've always said reports of us looking to move to a 4-3-3 lately. Semenyo, could that be a left winger? Because the thing is, the only thing that puts me off Man United moving to a 4 at the back formation, as much as I prefer 4 at the back, is because we don't have out-and-out wingers other than Ahmed and Mbumo. Cunha isn't an out-and-out winger. If we played a 4-3-3, he'd probably be false 9. So that was interesting. But Liverpool and Tottenham remain interested, was said by Fabrizio Romano. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Now, interestingly, Andy Cole has spoken about United's ambitious plans and what he believes United will become next season. The truth is, United aren't waiting. They're strategizing. Amorim requested 1 midfielder. However, I believe Ineos are deploying a robust squad. Anderson, Baleba, Semenyo. These 3 key players, one message. Next season won't be about securing top 4. It's about achieving dominance. And this is a start. I also read something behind the scenes about Gay. Gay could be one to watch. There's a feeling to go to Liverpool, but Gay could be one to watch. Baleba, Anderson, Semenyo, Gay. Maybe a left back. Maybe I generally think our squad could be good enough to go and do something crazy. So he spoke about sort of United's ambitious plan of make sure we get Baleba, Anderson, Semenyo. So let's talk about Baleba. Baleba has been poor this season, but United still love him. Romano said, look, if there's a player Manchester United put on top of their list, for sure it's Carlos Baleba. Baleba is a player they absolutely love. Anderson and Wharton are on the list, but Baleba has always been seen as a top target by Amorim. Now, The Athletic kind of say that Anderson is now the number one target. He's now overtaken Baleba. Romano's like, no, even though he's been poor, they love Baleba. He is the top target for Ruben Amorim. He is what Ruben Amorim want. Baleba is our top target. It depends who you believe. Ornstein's and Andy Mitten, Laurie Whip, or Athletic camp say it's Elliot Anderson. Romano's camp say it's Baleba. I think it's Elliot Anderson, but I think the club believe Baleba's more realistic because we know Baleba would choose us, whereas Elliot Anderson, it's believed he will choose Manchester City. I think it should be Elliot Anderson, but I'm also a big fan of Baleba, and I think he was too good last season to just be a one-season wonder. Now, interestingly, it's been reported that Brighton have made their valuation clear to the player and his reps. If their valuation is met, the club will not stand in his way of a January departure. Now, Indy Cala came out and said something very similar yesterday. Now, Indy Cala is Indy Cala. You have to take everything they say with a pinch of salt. They're not the best source of information. But the one story they've got right is a couple of their stories on Carlos Baleba. So when it comes to Carlos Baleba, you do have to listen a little bit because you're like, well, they did get their other stories on this guy right. Now, there's now reports coming that Brighton will make Baleba available in January if the right price is met. But we don't know what that price is, and Brighton won't tell people what that price is because Brighton want blind bids. Blind bids meaning if Brighton are willing to sell for 60 million and they get a 75 million bid, they're like, well, we've got 15 million more than we actually would have said yes for. Ha 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 ha. And if they, they can keep pushing the price up. Look, I don't think Brighton would put out that they want to sell Baleba in January. Brighton are trying to tell Man United, from what I'm hearing, you have to wait till summer. But I think with Baleba's poor form, I think they are open to cashing in on him in January. He's not been very important. He's been benched a lot. He's been hooked a lot. I think they're open to cashing in on Baleba in January. I just feel like this is only being reported by a couple of sources that aren't the most reliable sources. It's not gone out by an Ornstein, Romano, and Athletic. But I think Brighton wouldn't want anyone to know they're willing to let him go in January. I feel like Brighton's stance is if we let clubs know that we're willing to sell him, then they're going to know that we're not happy with him and not happy with his performances, and we're not going to get as much money for him. Brighton's stance is we love Baleba, we're not going to sell him because they want to get as much money as they can from him because they know United are going to come in and they know that United are known for overpaying. And they know that he's not doing well and they think, how can we get as much money for him? Let's pretend we don't want to sell him so United overpay. I think if United went in and put a 75, and I'm not saying he's worth that anymore, but if United came in and put a 75 million bid down for Baleba in January, I think Brighton would have a long, hard think about that. 100 million, they would 100% say yes to. We'd be stupid to do that. 8 million, I think they say yes to. 70 million, I honestly think if United went in with a 70 million bid, which right now seems too much of his recent performances, I think Brighton could be open to selling in January. But I think Brighton will be, they want to keep it hush. They don't want people to know that they could be open to selling in January. But I think we'd have to pay a lot to get him in January. But I think we will get Baleba. And this is why I think Baleba is happening. The feeling from within United is that Carlos Baleba will pick the club as preferred destination. There's some optimism that he'll say the same thing as Cunha and Mbeumo. What we know is about 3-4 clubs wanted Cunha. He said he wants United. 3-4 clubs wanted Mbeumo. He said he wants United. He had to wait ages despite other clubs bidding more. We feel like Baleba is going to say, I want Manchester United. I think Baleba is happening, but I think we're going to get Baleba in the summer because I think unless Brighton say you can have him for 60 million in January, I can't see United putting huge bids down. But I think if we did put a good bid down in January, it wouldn't shock me if they sold him because he's not been great this season. I think United should at least try for Baleba. Put a bid down, at least try. Because Anderson, Baleba and Wharton are all under considerations. United consider them elite level midfielders. Now, personally, I would prefer Elliot Anderson. First for passes completed, first for forward passes, first for short passes, first for possession one, first for accurate crosses, first for duels one, first for touches. You get the gist. I mean, I would rather go for him, but there's no way Forest are going to sell in January. Anyway, last but not least, I want to talk about news on Bruno Fernandes because Romano has been asked about, is Bruno going to leave? For the summer, I would keep an eye on interest from Saudi. Saudi can return for Bruno. It'll be up to Bruno and Manchester United again. Let's see what happens. Bruno said he loves Man United, but he'd leave if he felt that he wasn't wanted. Bruno also threw suggestions that he wouldn't mind going to Italy or Spain. I think if a top Italian club or top Spanish club went for Bruno in the summer, I think he would have gone in the summer. I think he was skeptical about Saudi because he still knows he's such a good player and he wants to win more. I think if a Spanish or Bundesliga or Serie A club comes for Bruno, I think he's off with his 56 million release clause. I don't think there's much we can do, to be honest. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.